Folks, I want to thank you for coming on and watching our presentation today. My name is John Dubas with Premier Marketing, and we'll be spending the next 50 to 60 minutes talking about a program that is so appropriate for our Medicare population. It carries over into whatever type of base coverage that someone selects for their Medicare additional help. The most common piece of it, however, falls into a way of taking care of people that are in a Medicare Advantage program as a primary market. So we have invited a guest with one of our partners, the premier partner for hospital indemnity plans, and we thank him very much for coming on board. We'll do an introduction in a little bit. Today's presentation is being recorded and will be made available on our website at premiersmi.com and on our YouTube channel as well. And you'll notice that in the software package, there is a section for both questions and chat. We ask that you put your questions in the question box. We normally cover them throughout the course of the presentation, but we'll check periodically to make certain that we address any needs for additional information as we go along today. And with that, I thank you for coming on once again. And let's start with a little bit of level set as to who Premier Marketing is. We are a national marketing organization that's founded in 1968. That's part of the Integrity Marketing Platform. Offices across the country. We're licensed in all 50 states. We act as an insurance wholesaler working through independent insurance agents such as yourself through contracts that are at the highest possible commission levels with recruiting contracts available to those who qualify. And we do so through a full portfolio of product that's aimed at the Medicare population and a number of other target markets. So when you look at the base medical programs for Medicare, we have those with the Medicare Advantage and Medicare Supplement plans, along with the standalone Part D prescription drug programs, the PDP plans. But we also offer a full portfolio of life insurance and annuity products, including final expense life insurance and pre-need plans, an array of long and short-term care programs, along with disability income plans, and those ancillary benefits such as dental, vision, hearing, critical illness, cancer plans, hospital indemnity, accident, and telehealth programs. We consider these a key component in the path to success for agents, and that's one of the reasons why we have invited our guest with us today. When we look at the Medicare Advantage programs, the national carriers are there for you through our organization, along with many of the strong regionals that can make a big difference for you in your market. And we want to make certain that we support your marketing efforts in that regard across the country. When we look at the prescription drug programs, the same philosophy carries over from the Medicare Advantage programs. And in most cases, these programs are available as part of that Medicare Advantage contract that you have with the appropriate insurance carrier. A couple of exceptions. The Mutual of Omaha program is a PDP component only. It's a different contract than some of their other benefits. And the Clever RX program is actually a discount program and not a Part D prescription drug program. Still has its place, still helpful in this category. When we look at Medicare supplements, we have a full array of programs there, and it seems like we're adding to them each and every day. Some really strong offerings to make certain that we cover the needs of our Medicare beneficiaries, regardless of the choice that they make for their base medical coverages. We also have programs set up to make certain that you have the marketing support to be successful in this area as well. When we look at the ancillary programs in each of these categories, you have the national leaders there for you. It is a great way to make certain that you cover the additional needs of our prospects and clients. It makes certain that we have additional avenues with which to market. And then, of course, there is that detail of, hey, it's another revenue stream for us and our agencies by taking care of and serving the population that we do. When we look at hospital indemnity programs, today's carrier is a leader in that area, and we surely appreciate GTL coming on and visiting with us here today. So when we look at the Medicare market, we see that aging of the baby boomers, the silver tsunami, 1 every 10 seconds, 10,000 plus a day, if you look at the market based just on age. But that's a little bit of a misleading number to a degree, in the fact that there are a percentage of people that are eligible for Medicare that don't take advantage of the entire spectrum of benefits for one reason or another. They may be working past the age of 65 and have benefits at work. They may actually decline the coverage and then reconsider. Whatever it is, it kind of shaves that number a little bit, but it's more than made up for by the fact that a good percentage of people on Medicare are under the age of 65 and qualify for the coverage because of medical disability. So when we look at the market overall with today's programs, it's not just for 65 and above, it's the target market, but you have a range of individuals with whom to offer programs to help them with their hospital expenses. And we do so because, hey, they're making choices. A Medicare recipient, as I mentioned before, can actually decline the Part B, sometimes for prescribed reasons, in a manner of speaking, sometimes because they don't know any better. But whatever it is, you see a section of the population that are self-insuring for the shortfall in the medical coverage, perhaps picking up a standalone Part D program for the prescription drugs. But then you see a good portion of the population that will enroll, take out a standardized, modernized Medicare supplement plan and add the Part D for the drugs, or they go into the all-in-one, as they say on the TV commercials, the bundled benefits of Medicare Part C, the Medicare Advantage programs. In each of these categories, we have a market for today's product. It is most commonly, however, associated with working with and through Medicare Advantage members. We want to also make certain that as we speak to the population that we address, that we help them with all the acronyms that come flying their way. This is a screenshot from quite a few months ago now, and we see, gee, this listing, 4,420 acronyms. It's a language all of its own. It gives us, however, a translation guide here for that when we run across one that we don't know what those letters stand for. But it also reminds us that we want to explain what those letters are in our discussions with the population we address, and also make certain that we limit our use of acronyms to properly communicate with the population with whom we visit. We're all aware of the different election periods for Medicare programs on the base medical. There's a lot of talk already for the annual election period starting this coming October for 2023 benefits. However, with the standard election periods and the special election periods, which generate an opportunity to enhance someone's program throughout the year, even though they are in lock-in, and even the special election periods, it's important to note that today's programs aren't affected by lock-in. We have the opportunity to offer these programs year-round and should do so, not only to make certain that we properly cover our folks that we visit with, but also gives us the opportunity to stay in touch, stay in front of the individuals, establish those additional needs and solutions, and go from there. And we do so because the majority of people on Medicare aren't doing a year-to-year comparison of their benefits, a good portion of them. So it doesn't matter what their base coverage is. You have an average of over 70% of the population that's not doing an annual review. So as we reach out to the population that we talk with, we have then an opportunity for a door opener as well with these programs to make certain that we're doing a full review of the coverages available to the individual and that we help them because, well, particularly some of the vulnerable groups in Medicare really need that assistance. They're having some challenges understanding what their coverages are. And you'll even run into people that just have the standalone Part D programs and haven't done the comparison. It gives us that window, that doorway into additional discussions simply by taking care of the people that we're looking to address. So not even using the government sites. All the detail that's kicked out there, the Medicare New Handbook that everybody on Medicare gets in October, well, either through United States Postal Service or the electronic means, they're not reading it. I mean, we all have that as our Bible in a manner of speaking, and it gives us additional detail on how to justify and illuminate the needs for coverages such as what we discussed today. But hey, electronically, online, they're not pulling the information that they need. We also want to make certain that as we discuss different programs with our prospects and clients, that we're able to deliver the information to them in the manner in which they want to receive it. A lot of that now is virtually. The population is being trained to do so, or it's a combination of, hey, I'm going to do some things in person. I'm going to get the information to them up front electronically, visit with them. And if I'm not closing in that one appointment, I have the ability to follow up and do so virtually. So we can really use time management tools in a manner of speaking to do so. That's why it's important to have a carrier partner that has that technology to help us deliver information in such a fashion, and that we work with a marketing organization that augments that as well through programs that they offer to their contracted agent force as well. I mean, think about it. Over the last few years now, golly, that's hard to say, with the pandemic, the population's been trained to receive information and the services all virtually. For the longest time, doctor's appointments were all held virtually, specialists as well, preamble work for hospitalization and dental visits, hey, even different pieces of our lifestyle when it comes to celebrating our faith, all online. So we have a population that is becoming accustomed to utilizing these services, and sometimes welcome it as the alternative to an actual face-to-face. So the ability to have that electronic means of delivering information and consummating that relationship, well, that's very important. And also, of course, as we have more products in a household, it drives up our retention overall. Studies have shown the more policies you have in the household, the more likely that individual is to stick with you, so to speak. And of course, that then gives us the opportunity to look at the fact that it doesn't necessarily have to be all the same carrier. It just has to be the same agent. So that base coverage that you have, and you go in and reinforce it with additional ancillary programs, can drive up the greater good of your entire book of business. So what we do is we look at different programs to address different needs. And today we speak to the hospital indemnity programs that can help fill the needs of our clients. So we have asked our friend Greg Esposito, an assistant vice president of sales for Guarantee Trust Life, to come on and visit with us and give us details about the leader in this area and how we can use these programs to cover that need and do so effectively. So at this point in time, I'm going to turn control of the presentation over to Mr. Esposito. And Greg, as they say on the Star Trek series, sir, you have the helm.
Appreciate it there, John, and great intro there. Just want to verify you can see my Advantage Plus PowerPoint screen slide, correct?
Absolutely.
Great. Well, I did the screen change correctly. So yeah, great to be here, everybody. Do appreciate it. Now is actually the perfect time of year to tune in to one of these trainings for an ancillary product. It's before all of the, the AEP craziness begins for everybody. And it's just a great time to get comfortable with a product that you can cross-sell the entire year round. But really, a ton of it is sold during AEP. So excited to tell you about our product. It is a product that was redone, relaunched, totally improved, even though it's always been the best out there. So really excited to tell you about it. It's called Advantage Plus Elite. Starting off, just a little bit about Guarantee Trust. We've been around for quite some time, since 1936. We work out of Illinois, and our AM Best rating is A-, excellent, zero debt on our balance sheets. Financially, GTL has never been in better shape. For the last year was our 12th consecutive record year in a row. So we're working hard to make sure that we do everything we can to make sure it gets to number 13. But this product today is a big part of that, and hopefully it'll become a very big part of your portfolio going forward. As John's mentioned, and thank you for that, Appreciate it. Our hospital indemnity plan has always been the best out there in the market, and we constantly improve it every couple of years to make sure it stays that way. We did a big upgrade last fall, and we actually even updated the name of the product. It used to be called Advantage Plus. Now it's called Advantage Plus Elite. And really looking forward to telling you about all the cool bells and whistles that we added to make sure we maintain being the leader in that market space. One of the fun things we do to help agents like yourself get this cross-sale done in a time-efficient manner is to create some tools for you to use. And we have a consumer video which works great to both use at the appointment and also to prospect with. We'll share that with you today, infographic. And if you're selling virtually, we even have a little client presentation, that little slideshow that you can use with the client to help walk them through the product. Also, we've got some great e-platforms for you to use however you do your business. If you're meeting in person, I recommend downloading GTL e-app onto your tablet or smartphone. That will allow you to actually do the sale, have the client sign your device screen, and be totally done. That said, if you're working virtually, not a problem. You can log into GTL's e-platform on your PC and do an application there that does not require a signature. Since we're not getting a signature, that client would need to do a short 2-minute automated verification phone call, and that takes place of their signature. So virtually or in person, you take your pick. We're all set for you to do business. Hospital indemnity is a fun product to sell. Once you start selling it, you will start thinking to yourself, why haven't I been selling this to all of my clients? Because it makes so much sense. And clients recognize that very early on when you start telling about how it works. And a Medicare Advantage product is the perfect kind of peanut butter and jelly situation as far as products go. So you end up really helping the client financially, creating a long-term client, and getting a lot of referrals. And that's what I'm here today to help with, not only tell you about the product, but I want to share with you a lot of ways agents bring it up, how they sell it, what they say, when they say it, and give you a couple tips for generating referrals too. So if you have not cross-sold hospital indemnity before, well, here's how it all kind of makes sense. You're talking to a client about Medicare Advantage. If they are in a county where they don't pay a premium for their Medicare Advantage coverage, that's always great. If they use their Med Advantage plan, they're going to start experiencing a copay. But if it just turns out to be something like an emergency care visit, $100 in this situation, pretty manageable. Where we run into a problem with our clients that just have Medicare Advantage and we could do a little better for them would be when a situation comes up where they need to take an ambulance to the hospital, they're in the ER for a little bit, then they're admitted for a couple of days. Well, that's when they end up with that $1,000 or more copay for their Med Advantage plan. And that's when they start wondering if there was something better they could have done. And that's when they may call you and say, wow, I didn't expect this. Or, their children may call and say, wow, I thought you had my parents covered, and now they've got this $1,000 or $1,500 bill. Yes, you did tell them all about that during the appointment, but sometimes it just doesn't hit home until, unfortunately, that event happens. So what we're here today to do is to give you an opportunity to see how affordable hospital indemnity is and show you how you can set it up so that when you have a client get set up for hospital indemnity, after they have that future hospitalization, they end up with zero net out-of-pocket costs. And I think, for the most part, clients are looking at a $20 to $35 per month premium for a hospital indemnity plan to have that and then not have to worry about $1,000 or more copay, for hospitalizations and other things that, other copays on Med Advantage. It just makes sense to people. So this has been a great plan for a long time, and we're going to tell you a lot more about it. Historically, GTL's hospital indemnity plan has been called Advantage Plus, and we've had it for 17 years. In those 17 years, we have never increased rates, and we have never lowered policyholder benefits. So when it comes to a hospital indemnity plan, not only have we been the leader, we've had a great product that has been priced right for clients, and we've never touched any of their benefits or increased their rates. We also built it way back in 2005 our initial plan, so it was easy for clients to understand and most importantly, easy for them to use. All through the years, we have continued to hone our claim process to make it more efficient, and now it's just a standout in the field. So our claim process by far eclipses anything else out there competition-wise. And as I travel around and do trainings and meet with agents, they all say the same thing. They're all just like, you know what, yeah, you got a great product, but you guys pay your claims so fast. So that really has become one of the big standouts for GTL, even though he's always had a great product. We already talked about cross-selling tools. One thing that I always like to mention about our e-platforms, for this plan, they are built so that once you push the submit button and submit that electronic app to GTL, it will be issued in a few minutes. And you'll get an email, and so will your client. Thank you for applying for coverage. Your policy number is this, and your application has been approved. So we call it straight through processing, and that's what the STP stands for on the slide. So I promised I was going to tell you that this plan does help clients financially, and let's share some of that information. You may think of hospital indemnity as something where your client may get a couple $100 every once in a while from the carrier, and you know, that's probably not a good way to think about hospital indemnity. What you're seeing on the right side of your screen is some individual policyholders and the amount of money that they have received from GTL just from their one affordable hospital indemnity plan. And I'll say this, so far. So one policyholder's already received just shy of $90,000 from GTL. You can see some of the other ones there. Not every policy pays out like this, but when you think about it, you know, how many of your clients have this big chunk of change in their bank account that they could take out for medical expenses? Not a lot. We know the average savings account, you know, in 2016 in America was a little less than $9,000. So let me play for you a really short voicemail just to kind of hit home of how important this product can be.
Doug, this is Ann Miller. Just letting you know that I received my check. I am so grateful for all your help. We can save our home. Thank you so much. Bye.
So that's a GTL hospital indemnity policy holder that we paid a claim to. That claim was less than $3,000, but that was the difference between them keeping their home or not. Imagine how thankful they are to their agent that he took a few minutes to tell them a little bit about GTL's hospital indemnity plan. And imagine how many referrals that agent got because he did that. So we do have some clients that do have some sizable bank accounts, and you're going to probably agree with me that if they had a choice between taking that money out to spend on healthcare expenses or on vacations or on their grandchildren, they probably would rather have a hospital indemnity plan so they don't have to worry about taking big chunks out of their bank account for medical expenses. And again, I'll just reiterate, when it comes to processing claims, when you do something hundreds of thousands of times, you get pretty darn good at it, and you learn a lot of different ways to make sure you can do it as fast as possible. And again, that's where GTL stands out. So cross-selling this product, what does it mean for you? Is it worth your time to bring it up? Well, statistically, over the years, I keep hearing one number come back to me, and it's 70%. Agents tell me all the time at least 70% of their Medicare Advantage clients have a hospital indemnity plan. So when they bring it up, at least 70% of their clients say, you know what, this is a great idea. So in terms of bringing it up, it's a great idea to do that. Has a very high closing ratio. Also, you can sell this plan year round. So even though we do a ton of business during AEP, you can sell this year round. So if you don't want to cross-sell it during a Medicare appointment, you can always circle back, and we'll talk about some different ways to do that today. Pays really nice first-year commissions, but more importantly, it pays renewal commissions for the life of the policy. I'll share with you that the average life of a GTL hospital indemnity policy is 8 years. That's the average. So you can really build up a great block of renewals by cross-selling the GTL plan. So great news. I know some of you with us today have been selling GTL for a long time, and you're hoping that Greg has something different to show you and teach you a tip or so. So hopefully we'll do that. But even if you have been selling for a long time, it's great you tuned in because we created a brand new hospital indemnity plan last fall. We call it Advantage Plus Elite. And once it gets approved in a state, it replaces the old Advantage Plus plan in terms of what you would be selling to future clients. So let me have some fun and share with you how we improved our Advantage Plus Elite product over our old Advantage Plus product. First thing, we made it easier for agents to get more claim benefits because we lowered the amount of time it takes for the plan to kick in, if you will, down to 6 hours. You used to have to be in the hospital for 12 hours in order for the plan to kick in, but now it's just 6. And that includes observation coded stays too. So if you're in the hospital for 6 hours and if you got an Advantage Plus Elite policy, your hospitalization coverage has kicked in. We also added more-based plans, so now you can easily match up the benefits they need for how many days they have a copay on their Medicare Advantage plan. We also lowered prices about 14% depending upon age. So now we have the lowest prices in the industry. We always had very, very competitive prices, if not the lowest for some age groups, but we just lowered them another 14% with Advantage Plus Elite. There used to be, with Advantage Plus, there used to be a one-time $20 application fee. Agents really did not like having to explain that to clients, and we listened. So we removed the $20 application fee on Advantage Plus Elite, making it another situation where clients can get more money from their policy from GTL. We made the ER benefit, which is a $150 benefit, even easier to get. We removed the requirement of going to the ER due to an injury and then also needing to be admitted in order to get your $150. Now you can go to the ER or an urgent care facility due to an injury and you're going to get $150. So Advantage Plus Elite, all you need to do is go to the ER or urgent care facility, has to be due to an injury, you'll get your $150. We've always had the easiest underwriting in terms of the ability for clients to get this plan, but we made it even easier. The first application question used to say, have you been in the hospital in the last 6 months as an inpatient? Well, with Advantage Plus Elite, now it says, have you been in the hospital in the last 3 months? So even easier for clients to get this product. Skilled nursing rider we'll chat about a little bit later. The change that we made was we made there more dollar options for you to choose from in terms of a daily benefit. We added a new occupational therapy benefit rider. Agents have been asking GTL to add a rider like this for years, so we did get around to it and listen to the agents and go ahead and add this rider. It's been very successful so far. We also listened to agents when they said that our outpatient surgical rider was a little pricey. So we drastically reduced the cost of it. And now when I do trainings, I actually talk about it as being a very viable rider to talk to clients about, and we'll do that today. One of the biggest changes that we made come June 1st was to expand our guarantee issue range. So GTL was always the leader in this. We had a guarantee issue range all the way back in 2005. The guarantee issue range was 64.5 to 65.5 years of age. If you were coming in during that period, no medical questions at all, you get this product. In June of this year, we expanded that from 64.5 all the way up to age 68. So now we remain the leaders with the largest guarantee issue range in the industry. And just to clarify, and I'll say it again later, it's up to age 68. So once you hit 68, it's too late to get the guarantee issue. 64.5 all the way up to 68 years of age. So in the end, you've got a great plan, great claim processing with the best benefits. So here's some great things to know for what your clients will ask you, so you just already are prepared and have the answers. First off, they may ask, well, where can I use this? Can I just use it in my resident state? No. Once you have a hospital indemnity plan in force, you can use it in all 50 states, even the states that GTL does not issue a policy in, which you can see on the bottom left side of your screen. The other thing they may ask is, well, what if I move? Like I'm in Illinois, what if I move to Florida? or Texas or Arizona, where it's a little warmer in the winter. Well, I could just keep my policy in force, pay the premium, and everything's great. Don't need to do a thing. A common occurrence, they'll change their Medicare Advantage plan. They don't have to do anything with their GTL plan. They could just keep it in force. They change their MA plan, they change their plan, no problem. If they want to upgrade their GTL coverage, they should be able to do that. If they want to downgrade their coverage, they can do that too. So a lot of flexibility, good things to know when it comes to where they can use it and how. To be compliant, if you are doing a Medicare appointment, talking about a Medicare product, and you also want to talk about GTL, super simple. Just have the scope of appointment form initialed by the hospital indemnity products box, or some scopes say supplemental health products. That's where that hospital indemnity product would fall in that category. So here's the other thing. If you're just going to talk about GTL, maybe you're like, I'm not going to cross-sell this during AEP. I'm going to circle back to my clients after. Or you get off the call today and you're like, I have a lot of Med Advantage clients already. I want to go talk to them about GTL. You do not need a scope of appointment form. So if you're going to talk about Medicare and GTL, get a scope. Just GTL, no scope. Let's set up the plan. It's really easy. You take a peek at the client's Medicare Advantage plan and you look at the inpatient hospitalization copay area. How many days do they have a copay for? Usually it's 5 days or 6 days. Well, now you pick the GTL base plan that would cover that amount of days. You have a lot to choose from, so you can match it up exactly. And these base plans, as we'll get into a little later, they restore an unlimited amount of times after 60 days of no hospitalizations. So if you were wondering early on when I showed you how people have gotten tens of thousands of dollars from GTL just from the simple affordable hospital indemnity plan, well, they've had multiple hospital stays over the years and they just keep using this plan, keep getting money, and just keep being happy that their agent told them about it. Second thing you do to set up their base plan is you just look again at the MA plan. How much do they owe per day when they're in the hospital? Is it $280, $300? Well, with Advantage Plus Elite, you can choose as low as $100 and go as high as $750 for their daily benefit. And you can choose in $10 increments. So now you can see, wow, I can just match this up exactly to the days they have a copay for and then the amount that they have a copay for. And now my client pays a few dollars a month to GTL, and when they have hospitalizations, they get the money from GTL to pay for that MA copay, and they're happy campers. Whichever base plan you choose, you get two other benefits. You get that ER benefit I mentioned earlier. You go to the ER due to an injury, you get $150. Remember, they can also go to the urgent care facility. Also, they get a mental health benefit too. And that's pretty simple. If you're in the hospital due to a mental health condition, what you're going to get per day for that hospitalization is $175, and they can get that for up to 7 days per year. So if you're in the hospital for anything else, health-related illness, sickness, that's when you're going to get that hospitalization benefit that we just talked about above. So this is new, it's fun, and all I can say is agents love it, even more than I thought they would. When you log into GTL to do an app, most of the time you go to quote and submit. You click there, you put in the client's name, you start putting in their birth date, and you start putting their product together, just as we described. So we have something new. Instead of clicking quote and submit, on the right, if you click fill the gaps, that's a new fill the gaps tool that we launched a few months ago. That's going to start out the same way. You put in the client's name, their birth date, the whole thing. And then it asks you for the exact Medicare Advantage plan that they have. And from there, it will match up the benefits from GTL that they need to cover their copays. So it makes it really easy to design coverage for the clients. My only caveat with the fill the gaps tool is you will definitely be unchecking some coverage because nobody buys all of the riders that we'll talk about today. So you may love the fill the gaps tool, but you'll be unchecking some riders as you go. But it really is fun, and agents definitely have really enjoyed having it. Tons of great feedback on it. So when you talk to clients about hospital indemnity, they're verily going to be asking you, all right, this thing sounds good. How's it work? And the main thing to tell them is it works by the amount of time that you're in the hospital. So first thing you need to know is if you're buying an Advantage Plus Elite plan, 3-day benefit period all the way through a 15-day benefit period, those are the ones that you sell to your Medicare Advantage clients. You need to be in the hospital for 6 hours before they kick in. So that's what your clients need to know. You need to be in the hospital for 6 hours. That's when this coverage kicks in. And then they may ask you, well, is there anything I can't use it for? And the quick answer to that is not really. If you have a scheduled surgery, that works. Could be anything, as long as you're in the hospital for 6 hours or more. Could be a sudden illness like a heart attack or a stroke that rushes them to the hospital. Could be a car accident. Could be a slip and fall and break their hip or something like that. Anything that takes them to the hospital for 6 hours or more, that's when this product kicks in. Okay, so here's how the base plan's restored. Now you get a really good idea of how people get a lot of money from GTL from this plan. Let's just say we have a client with a 6-day benefit period. They go into the hospital for 3 days, and then they come home. For the next 60 days, everything's good. So when they wake up on that 61st morning, they have a brand new 6-day benefit period to work with for anything that happens in the future. So again, these base plans restore an unlimited amount of times after 60 days of no use. And you can see they didn't have to even use up all of the 6 days. They could use up one. They could have used up all 6. If they only need to use 1 day, then they're out for 60. They get a brand new one to work with. Sometimes it's not as smooth, if you will, in the hospital. You go in for 3 days, you come home, but before that automatic 60-day restoration happens, maybe you don't feel well. You need to go back in the hospital. Well, you only use 3 of your 6 days the first time you were in, so you get to use those other 3 that you didn't use. And then after 60 days of not being in the hospital, you get a new 6-day benefit period. So this is the way they all restore. No matter what base plan benefit period you pick, they all restore, again, an unlimited amount of times after 60 days of no hospital confinement. So this is a good time for me to tell you something GTL is clueless about. We have no idea what Medicare Advantage plan the client has. We have no idea what their copays are. So depending upon how you set up their coverage, they could actually end up with more money from GTL than they actually have a Medicare Advantage copay with. And that's fine. We will pay claim benefits based upon GTL coverage because we have no idea what their copays are, and we are not coordinating coverage at all with this plan. So you could have a situation where a person has an MA plan with a 5-day hospitalization copay, but they have a 6-day base plan with GTL. And if they go in the hospital for 6 days, we're going to pay them for 6 days. So they'll end up with extra money in their pockets. So here's some great details for you. Ages 40 through 85, that's the issue age range for this product in most states. And once they have it, they can keep it as long as they want. Pay the premium, never goes away. Guarantee issue, remember that was increased recently from 64.5 all the way up to 68 years of age. No medical questions asked. You can get the coverage. You've got some people that have some serious health conditions that are aging in. Get them this plan in the guarantee issue range. Great thing about the plan is once you buy it, that's your rate. It does not increase as you get older. We've never guaranteed the rates would not increase, but after 17 years of experience, we have never touched the rates. The only thing we've done, as you know, is we've lowered the rates with Advantage Plus Elite. So great to know people can buy it. It's affordable. It's going to stay affordable. We did remove that $20 application fee that we used to have on Advantage Plus. With Advantage Plus Elite, there is a $20 annual policy fee. That's new. However, whenever you quote the plan, that policy fee is included in the quote. So you no longer have to talk to clients about, well, there's just one draft and then there's a second draft for an app fee. No more. There is a policy fee with this plan now, but it's included in the quote. Here's a tip for referrals. I'll make it short because we've got a ton of stuff to cover and not a lot of time. If your client fills out the claim form, they will get paid directly from GTL. So they fill it out when they get home from the hospitalization. we process the claim, we send them the check. When they get the check in their hand, that's when you get the referrals. You're like, wow, this thing really does work. I got some friends who need this. So tell your clients, when you get your GTL information in the mail, you get your GTL ID card in the mail, leave it at home when you go to the hospital. Don't take it. Because if they do take it to the hospital, they give it to the administrator, they check in, somewhere in that paperwork that they're signing, just your regular admittance paperwork, it says that they are assigning all their insurance benefits to the hospital. GTL's perspective, we don't care. We're happy to pay the hospital directly or the policyholder directly. But from a referral standpoint, when they get the check in their hand from GTL, that really helps with your referrals. So kind of keep that in mind. All right, so everybody who buys this policy has a 6-month pre-existing condition limitation. A lot of words to string together there, but really easy to understand. If you sold me a policy today, my pre-existing conditions are anything that my doctor's been treating me for in the prior 6 months to me getting coverage, or has told me, Greg, you need to go in the hospital for some tests, or you need to go schedule a surgery right away. Those are pre-existing conditions. So my policy goes into effect today, but I can't use it for those specific pre-existing conditions for the first 6 months I have my policy in force. More importantly, after 6 months, I can use it for all my pre-existing conditions. So there's a 6-month wait. That's standard in the industry, 6-month wait. And that's important because otherwise people would not buy this coverage until they knew they were going to the hospital. Then they'd call you up and ask for a plan. And at that point, this product would be so much higher priced if we had to deal with it that way. So I started the slide out by saying you need to tell everybody that you have applied for this about the 6-month pre-X, because it does apply to everybody, even the guarantee issue folks. So guarantee issue folks can get the coverage, no medical questions asked, but they do have the 6-month pre-X. Now, you can use this product right away, and it happens all the time. You fall and break your hip, that's not pre-existing. Your appendix ruptures, that's not pre-existing. A heart attack, a stroke, a car accident, slips and falls, not pre-existing. You will be surprised how quickly clients use this product well before the 6-month pre-existing limitation mark hits. So keep that in mind. All right, here's the fun part for me. Here's where I get to share how agents bring up the hospital indemnity plan. So let's get to it. You're sitting at the kitchen table talking to Mrs. Smith about her Med Advantage plan. And you're going to get to inpatient hospital care. And you're going to say to her, Mrs. Smith, with this Med Advantage plan, you'll be responsible for a $250 per day copay for just the first 6 days you're in the hospital. After that, there'll be no more copay. And then you can say something very similar to this. Now, that $250 copay can definitely add up if you're in the hospital for a couple of days or more, but I don't want you to have to worry about that. So once we get you set up with a Medicare Advantage plan, if you don't mind, I'll take a couple minutes and show you how we can lower your net out-of-pocket cost for those hospitalization stays, probably for about $1 a day, with a hospital indemnity plan. Pretty sure Mrs. Smith's going to say, yeah, I got a couple minutes, and I'd like to see how to lower my costs. Some agents go about it a little bit differently. They may say something like, you know, Mrs. Smith, my clients like me to design their coverage so when they have hospitalization stays and they come home, they actually have zero net out-of-pocket costs. If you'd like, I could take a couple minutes to try and develop a plan like that for you. Here's another one that is a little more personalized that makes a lot of sense depending upon your client. Go through all the Medicare Advantage copays. And then you can say, Mrs. Smith, let me ask you a question about a certain situation that could or couldn't happen. If you unfortunately needed to take an ambulance to the hospital, you were in the ER for a little bit, in the hospital for 2-3 days, your Medicare Advantage copay is going to be $1,000 or more. If that were to happen to you, would that put a big crimp in your monthly budget or your savings account? And if she's like, yeah, that would be tough. Well, you know where we're going here. Well, I'm glad I asked, because we'll take a couple minutes after we get you signed up with this Medicare Advantage plan. It's going to work great for you. And I'll show you how we can lower those net out-of-pocket hospitalization costs to zero, probably for about $1 a day. And she's going to be thrilled that you brought it up. And she's also going to be like, you know what? This agent's looking out for me. And that's important to help develop that relationship. Now, the great time to play the consumer video during a Medicare appointment is right after you get them signed up for Med Advantage. Maybe you're double checking their Med Advantage application for accuracy. You just say something like, you know, Mrs. Smith, while I check your Medicare Advantage app for accuracy, let me show you a quick video. This is the product I was talking about a little earlier that can lower your net out-of-pocket cost to zero when you have those hospitalizations. And then play the video for them. And you can access it a couple ways. You can just put your phone right on the QR code of the GTL brochure. You can even download the video now right onto your desktop. So let's take a peek at it.
So, you just enrolled for Medicare Advantage health coverage. Great choice. Did you know there is additional coverage you can add to protect you from the out-of-pocket medical expenses you are still responsible for? Help fill any gaps in coverage and strengthen your financial protection with a hospital confinement indemnity insurance policy from Guarantee Trust Life Insurance Company. Since 2005, GTL's industry-leading hospital indemnity insurance has been helping clients lower or completely eliminate their net out-of-pocket expenses stemming from Medicare Advantage copays and deductibles after a hospitalization event. Coverage is affordable and pays you directly based on your time in the hospital, regardless of any other healthcare coverage you have or where in the U.S. you receive care. Your potential out-of-pocket costs could be for a variety of services, including ambulance trips, outpatient therapy, critical accidents, and more. GTL's hospital indemnity insurance allows you to customize your coverage to help cover these and many others. Let's see a quick example on how it works. Meet Beth. She is 65 years old, and her Medicare Advantage coverage leaves her responsible for a daily hospitalization copay of $300 per day for her first 6 days in the hospital. Knowing she would be responsible for her high copay, her agent helped her customize and apply for a GTL hospital indemnity insurance policy. Beth's new policy provided a restorable 6-day benefit period of $300 per day for less than $25 per month. A few months later, Beth suffered an illness that kept her in the hospital for 6 days. Her GTL hospital indemnity insurance kicked in after the first 6 hours of her stay. Beth received $1,800 directly from GTL for her hospitalization, which she used to completely cover her Medicare Advantage copay. Instead of worrying about how to pay her high copay, Beth could focus on her recovery without a financial setback. You shouldn't have to worry about covering out-of-pocket medical expenses. So now is a great time to think about GTL's hospital indemnity insurance.
There you go. So a great short video that really does a lot of the explaining for you. Let me share with you some fun ways to do it. We already talked about using it during the Medicare appointment. However, here's some ways to prospect with it. Think about putting the link to it on your social media account with a sentence or two about, hey, here's a great product to lower your out-of-pocket hospitalization costs. That works. Put it on your website. Agents, if you have Medicare Advantage clients already, or after AEP, after you service all of your Med Advantage clients, send them an email. Mrs. Smith, just double checking. Want to reach out, make sure your Med Advantage coverage is working great for you. Remember when we met, we talked about some of the costs that can be involved when you use your plan, have hospitalizations. Click this link and watch this short video. This has been a great plan for my clients to help lower their costs. And guess what? Great news. If it's something you're interested in, it's very affordable. I can even sign you up over the phone. Give me a call. So great ways to prospect with the GTL consumer cross-selling video. The key thing to both the video and the infographic is it shows an example of how the product works, and that's what really gets your closing ratio high. They see the example, they understand how this product works, they ask how much it is, and they're like, wow, that's affordable, sign me up. The ambulance rider is great to have. It's very inexpensive, and the reason I say it's built for use is because it is. You take an ambulance to go to the hospital, you get a benefit. Most people sign up for a $250 or $300 ambulance benefit, but your spread is from $50 to $400. That's what you can sign up for. So if you take an ambulance, even if you're not admitted, Even if it's just a short ER stay or observation coded stay, you're going to get your benefit. Also, if you take another ambulance, maybe a day later or after that to a hospital, another hospital or a skilled nursing facility, you're going to get another benefit. So I love this rider because it's affordable and it's easy to explain in about 10 seconds. Here we go. Mrs. Smith, with the ambulance rider, you can get a benefit every time you take an ambulance to the hospital. You can get the benefit up to 4 times per year and up to 12 times over the life of the policy. And air ambulance also triggers a benefit for you. That's it. There's no fine print on this rider. It is the best one out there. And with Advantage Plus Elite, even though the rates were really low, we lowered them even more. 65-year-old now looking at about $2.75 a month to have a $250 ambulance rider benefit. So great rider to have. If you are selling in a state where the client is paying for their Medicare Advantage coverage, they may say, well, why do I want to pay 2 premiums? I'm already paying a premium for Med Advantage. Why do I want to tack on a hospital indemnity premium on top of it? Here's a great way to combat that objection. Here's a person who does not have a hospital indemnity plan. They take an ambulance ride. They're in the hospital for 1 day. Their Med Advantage copay is $550. How much would it be for this person to have a 6-day benefit period with GTL, $300 to cover that hospital stay, $250 on an ambulance rider? How much would it cost them for that coverage for an entire year? Well, 65-year-olds are looking at only $320.55. So when you show the clients the cost of the plan compared to what it would cost for just 1 day in the hospital and an ambulance ride, it just makes sense. The clients see that this makes sense. Even 1 use per year pretty much makes up for the cost if it doesn't completely make up for the cost. And then you can remind them, hey, you know what, you can use this plan over and over again. It restores an unlimited amount of times. And there's no limit to the amount of money that you can get on this plan. Never do you reach a point with GTL where it's like, you know what, we paid you too much on your hospital indemnity plan. We need to cancel the policy. Never happens. So it's a great plan. And I'm sure by now you can see why a lot of folks just say it makes sense. It makes sense for veterans too. Even though they do not get a bill for a VA facility hospital room, we can contact the VA directly, ask them for the client's time in, time out, the diagnosis of why they were there. And if it's a viable Advantage Plus claim, we will pay them. So it's a great product for veterans to have too. Outpatient therapy rider, this is brand new. So if your client is getting physical, occupational, or speech therapy, this rider gives them the ability to get up to $50 per day from GTL. You can choose either 15 days of coverage per year or 30. Take your pick when you apply. And it also includes a chiropractic therapy benefit of $50 per day, up to 5 days per calendar year. So again, agents asked for this, we responded, and so far sales with this rider have been great. Critical accident rider, very affordable. Think of it as this: as you get a little older, bones get a little more brittle. When the car accidents happen, slips and falls happen, things like that, sporting injuries, things tend to break, get dislocated, or torn. So this rider pays out a lump sum when those things happen. By now, as I've been jabbering away, you've noticed that there's a $5,000 or $10,000 rider to choose from, and you probably also noticed there's an accidental death benefit of $5,000 or $10,000. The most you can get in total is $5,000 or $10,000. And there's a 30-day waiting period before it kicks in, but nice rider, really affordable. Lump sum cancer coverage, great rider to have. Not everybody will want it, but you should bring it up in case they don't have cancer coverage. My favorite cross-selling line for starting a cancer policy sale, a rider sale, is, Mrs. Smith, what company is your cancer policy with? That gets the conversation started pretty comfortably. And, you know, if she says she doesn't have one, or why should she have one, you can always, well, you know, just ask her personally. Do you have friends, coworkers, or family members that, you know, have been diagnosed with cancer? And, you know, she'll realize pretty quickly that she has a lot of people she knows that have been diagnosed with cancer and probably wants to hear a little bit about the coverage. So you can choose a benefit, a lump sum benefit of $2,500 all the way up to $20,000. This would be for stage 1, 2, 3, 4 internal invasive cancers. Also included is cancer in situ. That's a stage 0 cancer. Usually it's very early stage 0 cancer, 25% benefit. Skin cancer, also included in this rider. So basal cell, squamous cell skin cancer diagnosis, that is going to give you $500. And that's a benefit that can be paid 3 times. If we pay the benefit once, twice, 3 times, pay the cancer in situ benefit once, the client still has their full lump sum benefit above for those internal invasive cancers. So when we talk about a rider that was built for use, you've got it. Skin cancer, early stage cancer, all the internal stage 1, 2, 3, 4. You got it covered with this rider. Most agents sell a $10,000 rider because a person's maximum out of pocket or their MOOP is probably around $5,000. So if the person unfortunately starts some cancer therapy, radiation chemo with Med Advantage, they probably got an 80-20 copay on that. They're going to hit their MOOP pretty quick. And if the calendar year turns and they're still getting treatment, there's another MOOP. So that's why we see a lot of $10,000 cancer riders. A couple other ones, and then we're all set. Skilled nursing facility rider. You can start at day 1 and go through day 50. You can start it through day 21, go through 100. Take your pick. And you can go as low as 100 and as high as 220 in terms of a daily benefit. Outpatient surgical rider, where would they use that? Cataract surgery is very popular. Colonoscopies, where they do remove some tissue during the procedure, because this does have to be a surgery that they're having done at an outpatient surgical facility. That's what makes this rider kick in. Rates are much lower. Love the rider now. So underwriting is a snap. If you're doing an EAP platform and you answer yes to any of the 5 questions, it will tell you right then and there the client will not be approved for coverage. So there's 5 questions. If you answer them all no, you get the coverage. If you're coming in guarantee issue, 64 and a half up to 68 years of age, no medical questions, you get the coverage. Lump sum cancer rider is never guarantee issue, has its own set of 4 questions with only a 5-year look back. Pre-X we tackled policies contestable for 24 months, so great news. After 24 months of this policy being enforced, the client does not even need to complete a claim form in order to get their benefits. They just send us the hospital bill. We take it from there. Most people pay monthly bank draft. We can draft for any mode, direct bill, need a paper app with the first premium payment, and we do not offer monthly direct bill. So as you can imagine, most people do monthly bank draft, and then you do not need to collect any premium. First question. The reason I have this one circled in 2 places, remember Advantage Plus Elite, we dropped the look back for inpatient hospitalizations to 3 months. Our competitors are sitting at 6 months or 12 months. We're at 3 months. The key word in this question is inpatient. So if you ask a client if they've been in the hospital in the last 3 months and they say yes, make sure that it was an inpatient stay. Because if it was an observation coded stay, even if it was for 3 days, 4 days, whatever, if it's coded to observation or an ER stay, no big deal. Answer this question no and move on to the next one. So with Advantage Plus Elite, here's what you got. You've got less underwriting questions than our competition. In some instances, 50% less questions than our competition. It's easier for them to get the product with guarantee issue and only a 3-month look back and shorter look back times for other diseases. Lower premium rates now, cool cross-selling tools. We pay our claims the fastest of anybody, and all these e-platforms to work with. The last thing that we want to tackle today is just how claims are paid. I'm sure you're interested in that. Process is very simple, and it's supposed to be hassle-free for the client. So I recommend the client complete the short claim form. All we're asking for is their policy number, their contact info, when they went in the hospital, what it was for, sign the claim form, sign and date the HIPAA form, and send us the hospitalization bill. Now, some people send us the wrong bill or no bill. That's what the HIPAA form helps us with. At that point, if they're having difficulty getting the bill, we have the authority to reach out to the facility for them if we have the signed HIPAA form. If we ever do need to pull medical records to verify if it's a pre-existing condition claim or not, we have the HIPAA form. we can get the medical records for them so they don't have to run around, and we can take care of the claim quickly. So here's some great things to know about our claim process. First thing, it doesn't help anybody for GTL to delay paying a claim or act like we don't want to. We love paying claims. It works great for everybody. So that's never an issue at GTL. Second thing is, have your clients call GTL if they have a claim question. We are happy to tell them about where their claim's at. Most people never need to call because it's processed so quickly, but fine. We can actually tell them more than we can tell you because of HIPAA regulations. So have them call GTL. They're going to be happy that they did. They're going to know we're on top of things. Takes us 8 business days on average to process a claim. So much faster than the competition. At last check, 5 days faster than the competition, if not more. And the last thing is we have a great process when we do need to order medical records. We have a great process to get them quickly. That's usually the laggard of processing a claim. If we need to get medical records, sometimes doctors aren't that fast to send them. So we have an outside vendor we use to call the doctor every 3 days to let them know, hey, we need these medical records right now so we can process this claim. So altogether, this is a very hassle-free process for the clients, and that's what has made this product great. While we've covered a ton today, here's some final info for you. If you want to order some supplies mailed to your front doorstep, you got some questions on the product, questions on the eApp platform, anything like that, you can call GTL Sales Support at 800-323-6907. You can also text to chat them at the same number during business hours, or email them at agency@gtlic.com. One of my favorite things to do is put my email address on this slide. So please take a snapshot of the screen if you don't mind. Put my email address in your phone and feel free to email me anytime. And I'm talking during business hours, after business hours, weekend. When you need a hand, my phone is always near me. So please feel free to email me. Do not hesitate because it's 8 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night or the weekend. I'm here to help. So hope you enjoyed the presentation today. Hope you like the plan. And, John, from here, we can tackle questions or do whatever you like.
Awesome, Greg. Thank you. I'm checking for questions. It appears that you've covered what we needed to cover in this regard. So we've got that taken care of. I thank you again for the presentation. I'm going to pull control back for just a moment and throw in a few additional slides, maybe 5 minutes worth, to help folks understand, well, why someone would want to work with GTL and Premier Marketing. One of the things I think that starts out is the fact that we have an electronic contracting process that we use for many carriers. With GTL, we're going to use a direct link and take care of you as quickly as possible so you can make this a part of your marketing portfolio as quickly as possible. We also offer discounted E&O for qualified agents. What makes you a qualified agent? Well, you get a contract with us. And this errors and omissions coverage, however, is something that you own. So you don't have to worry about, oh boy, I've been added to a blanket E&O for one product. How am I going to take care of this requirement with everybody else? This takes care of it for you, regardless of whom you contract through, to make certain that you're protecting yourself financially. And you can protect your license as well through discounted continuing education bundles that we have through our association with WebCE. And as an agent, you are responsible for your own benefit package. You have access to modified guarantee issue disability income insurance for yourself, in which you are paid a commission. Much as where today's presentation is being recorded and will be made available in our video library on our website, it will also be available on our YouTube channel. One of the great things about hospital indemnity programs and the appeal that Guarantee Trust Life has with their product is it can be an independent presentation that you use in the community. And as Greg illustrated, the wonderful video support that they have, well, gee, they're talking through it for you and takes care of the general presentation that you have. So you can do that live or virtually. We also want to make certain that you are aware that you have a tool that can help you cross-sell within our organization as well. And it is, as JJ Walker says on the TV commercials, free. That's really hard for an old MA agent to say. But it's the Medicare Center program that we offer that has a single universal login to use multiple quoting engines and other tools. It offers the ability to collect that scope of appointment through multiple methods and store it for that 10-year period. It's a great way to use a regulatory tool to set up discussions about multiple products, including filling in the gaps. And it gives you that side-by-side plan comparison for the base coverages as well. It does offer a CRM for your use to help you track and stay in touch with your book of business, if you sold them or not, and has other resources in there such as sales scripts, talking points, that sort of thing that can really help you improve your sales process as well. It is a tool that really, really can make a difference for you as you work in the community, because as Greg illustrated with GTL's fill the gap policy, the CSG component within this does the same thing. And one thing to consider, there are certain markets where some of the folks that you're visiting with are looking for verification of the fact, hey, I do have the best program, and you can't nudge them off the slide with other types of coverages. So this, like what Greg described with the GTL program, it allows you to identify the specific Medicare Advantage program and fill in the gap utilizing GTL's HIP program to do so. It really has a cool way of doing it. We have a recording that can help you walk through that process as well. One of the things that has a particular appeal for some of the ancillary products is the fact that many carriers do offer different incentives and sales campaigns throughout the different seasons. That is a great way to make certain that you're receiving the maximum compensation that you can receive for these programs. It can help you in certain circumstances to qualify for carrier trips and for premier incentive programs as well. We value that information to the point where we have dedicated a piece of our website to put that all in one singular space there for you, so you can go in and utilize that information and keep it in mind and help you track to qualify for such incentives. We do offer different lead programs as well. You can't cold call for MA or PDP, but you sure can for hospital indemnity and other ancillary products. So we do have custom call lists available for you, butted up against do not call, available at a very reasonable price or no cost at all to you, depending upon your contracting relationship with our organization. And as I mentioned, we have different campaigns to reach out to centers of influence in the community where you can do different presentations, including offering different video detail and other presentations for the product portfolio that GTL offers. Different carriers do periodically generate prospects. This is a bit of a quid pro quo situation where you're scratching their back, they're scratching yours. A great way to make certain that you stay in contact with local carrier management to stay in the line of sight for such lead distribution when available. We do offer internet lead programs through social media, direct mail support, a great T65 locator, and a referral program that reminds you to what? Ask. Only about 11% of the agent population asks for referrals, and that's the biggest thing. The politically incorrect Pepe Le Pew looking to kiss Penelope, well, you don't ask if you don't. You don't get kissed if you don't ask. The direct mail program is based on productivity, can drive down the cost of that lead system to make certain that you're able to do it consistently. We do it through vetted lead vendors to make certain that they have the capability of delivering those leads to you as quickly as possible, but also that the correspondence that they kick out is vetted and makes certain that you stay in compliance. We also have a program with one of our partners that helps you fill the gap on never distributed direct mail leads that come back. The cost and availabilities do vary from area to area and time of year throughout the year, but the prices listed here are as high as I've ever seen them. A great way, however, to plug holes in your calendar, and it's a great investment of dollars to make certain that you have level activity and can carry through with a loaded appointment load for your week. The internet lead programs are through Facebook. We have a separate program for final expense and for Medicare. It opens up the door to discussion of a number of different products. It's available for you, as is another free tool, a program that you download to your smartphone or your desktop. You register for it. They verify that you have a contract with us, and it helps you determine where people live in your test market, your target market in that speaking. So it's a great way too that if you're in an area where you have 3 appointments booked, the middle one bails on you, here's some activity that you can use to fill in that time and act productively. It is, however, one thing that we want to make certain that you don't door knock for programs that don't allow that, but hospital indemnity programs, well, you can do what you like. That's that ease of the different marketing oversight that you have available. That referral program is very crucial to take one lead and make it multiply as you visit with folks, but it's also important to remember to go back and engage your book of business, asking for their help with people to speak to. That's where the value of a good CRM comes into play, so you can do that periodically, stay in front of folks, drive up your retention, but also get different leads out of it. We do all this because we want your business. We want to be referable to your agent friends, and we want to be that subject matter expert, that pool of resources that you have to grow your agency and your business. And the nice thing about these hospital indemnity programs, particularly GTLs, is the fact that you can add it to your personal marketing program now. As John Wayne said in the movie The Cowboy, slap a piece of bacon in that biscuit, saddle up, let's ride, we're burning daylight. You can do this now. You don't have to wait for any time period. And as Greg alluded to earlier, it's a great time to offer it because, well, folks may have claims experience from the first of the year. It gives you then the opportunity to make certain that they've reviewed their base coverages as well, and gives you that additional revenue stream to help with the old bank account too. Here in Texas, we've been in triple digits for quite some time, and it looks like we're going to be for quite some time. We got to pay that electric bill. This is a way to do so. So all that said and done, I'm going to check for questions really quickly. It appears that we are good. So what I need to do now is thank you. For those of you that have done business with us here at Premier, we appreciate that business relationship, that partnership. We look to grow it, and we look to help you with different programs that can make an impact on your bank account and your agency. For those of you that are considering doing business for us, I thank you for that opportunity as well. Hope to cement that relationship and move forward. But we've gone pretty long today. I want to thank you for your time. It's your most valuable resource. I appreciate you spending and investing with us here today and making certain that you have the detail you need to have a strong product as part of your portfolio. So all that said and done, checking once again, no questions. Greg, thank you once again for your presentation. Always enjoy it and the detail that you deliver and the tools that are made available through GTL. For everyone else, until we're able to visit again, I wish you a good selling. Thanks so very much. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.